Imagine this. You're standing in the middle of a city that just got hit by a 7.8 magnitude earthquake. Power lines are down. Transformers exploded hours ago. The grid is dead for weeks, maybe months. Hospitals are running on fumes. People are cold, scared, and in the dark. Now imagine one single machine, about the size of a large suitcase, quietly humming in the corner of a shelter. No fuel. No noise. No emissions. Producing enough electricity to keep lights on, phones charged, medical equipment running, and hope alive. That machine exists. It's called the Maxwell Earthquake-Proof Generator. And we just spent 3 weeks testing it in real disaster zone conditions. What we discovered will probably shock you. My team and I flew to a remote testing facility in the mountains of Central Asia where they can legally simulate seismic events up to 9.2 on the Richter scale. We wanted zero corporate babysitting, zero scripted demos. Just raw, brutal, honest testing. The unit they handed us looked almost too simple. Matte black casing. No visible vents. No fuel cap. Just one power switch and a row of outlets on the side. Weight? 68 kilograms. You can carry it with 2 people, or one very determined person. They told us it was quantum-tuned electromagnetic resonance harvested from atmospheric charge differential. We just nodded like we understood. Day 1. We set it on a shake table capable of reproducing the exact motion of the 2011 Tohoku earthquake. 9.1 magnitude. Over 40 seconds of pure chaos. The table roared like a dragon. Tools flew off benches. Our camera tripod snapped in half. The Maxwell unit? It didn't even slide an inch. For recessed magnetic clamps auto-engaged the moment shaking began. We measured output during the quake. Steady 15 kilowatts. Zero fluctuation. Not even a flicker. We killed the test and just stared at each other. That alone was impossible by every law of physics we were taught. Day 3. We took it to 4,000 meters altitude, -25 Celsius, 60 kilometers per hour winds. Conditions that kill normal generators in minutes. Fuel gels. Oil turns to sludge. Batteries freeze. The Maxwell started with a single flip of the switch. No warm-up. No choke. Instant 100% load capacity. We ran it for 72 hours straight, powering an entire off-grid medical clinic mock-up. CPAP machines. Refrigeration for insulin. Satellite uplink. Lights. Coffee maker, because morale. It never dropped below 14.8 kilowatts. Never refueled. Never shut down. We began to think this thing was magic. Week 2. We went darker. We submerged it in saltwater for 6 hours to simulate tsunami flooding. Then froze it overnight. Then dropped it from 3 meters onto concrete. Then ran the Tohoku simulation again. Still worked. Still 15 kilowatts. The casing had scratches, but the output curve looked like it just left the factory. At this point we stopped acting like journalists and started acting like kids who found a lightsaber. We plugged in everything we could find. Welder. Air compressor. Induction stove. 3 space heaters at once. It laughed at us. Voltage stayed at 230 clean sine wave. Frequency locked at 50 Hz like it was daring us to try harder. We even hooked it to an oscilloscope and looked for harmonics. Cleaner than grid power in Switzerland. That night around the fire we started asking the question no one wanted to say out loud. How is this even possible? No fuel. No solar panels. No wind turbine. No moving parts we could hear. Just electricity. From nothing. The engineer supervising the test finally cracked a smile and said, "It's not from nothing. It's from everywhere." He claimed the core is a multi-layer bismuth telluride lattice doped with rare earth elements, wrapped in a toroidal coil that resonates at the exact frequency of the Earth's Schumann cavity. Basically, it drinks the static electricity that's already floating in the air, amplifies it through quantum tunneling effects, and converts it directly into usable AC. We wrote that down and still had no idea what it meant. But the meters don't lie. 15 kilowatts continuous. Zero input. That was the moment the tone of our testing changed. We stopped trying to prove it worked. We started trying to prove it didn't. We called in favors. A physics professor from Caltech. A power systems engineer who designs nuclear plant backups. 2 skeptical electrical engineers who swear by Faraday and hate free energy claims more than taxes. They arrived with truckloads of diagnostic gear. Resistive load banks. Thermal cameras. Spectrum analyzers. Gauss meters. EMF detectors. They tore into it for 4 straight days. At one point they had so many probes it looked like the machine was in intensive care. Their conclusion? They couldn't explain it. But they also couldn't debunk it. Output was real. No hidden batteries. No fuel cells. No radioisotope thermoelectric generator, they checked for gamma. Just power. Coming out. All day. Every day. We uploaded a short clip to our channel. Within 48 hours it had 40 million views. The comments exploded. Some called it the biggest breakthrough since fire. Others called it the biggest scam since FTX. That's when the second half of the story began. Because as mind-blowing as our tests were, something didn't add up. We asked for a factory tour. Request denied. We asked for independent verification reports. They sent a 400-page PDF written in language so dense it needed its own translator. We asked to purchase a unit outright. Minimum order, 500 units. Price per unit if you buy 500? $180,000. That's $90 million before you even get one. Red flags started waving. We dug deeper. The company is registered in Singapore. Parent entity in the Cayman Islands. Founders? Anonymous. Only a guy named Dr. Elias Maxwell gives interviews, always through voice modulator, always on encrypted video. Patent applications? Filed, but sealed under national security clauses in 3 countries. Suddenly the fairy tale started feeling weird. Then leaks began. Someone on an obscure engineering forum posted internal schematics. Looked legitimate. According to those docs, the core isn't just harvesting atmospheric charge. It's allegedly creating a localized Casimir effect vacuum fluctuation. Translation, it might be pulling zero-point energy out of the quantum vacuum. Which sounds insane. Because if that's true, it violates conservation of energy. Or, it doesn't, if you accept the vacuum isn't empty. Physicists have argued about this for decades. Most say extracting usable work from zero-point energy is impossible. A growing minority say it's only impossible until someone figures out the right geometry and resonance. What if Maxwell figured it out? Or, what if the whole thing is the most elaborate long con in energy history? Here's where it gets murky. Multiple sources, all anonymous, claim the units we tested were specially prepared. Hidden supercapacitors. Indium-gallium batteries. Even micro-RTG plutonium pellets. They say the real production units will be 90% hollow with a tiny lithium pack that dies in 48 hours. Then you have to pay a resonance recalibration fee of $40,000 every 6 months. Subscription electricity. Others swear the tech is real but classified. That governments have quietly bought thousands of units for black sites and doomsday bunkers. That public release is a controlled leak to gauge reaction. That if it ever hits mass market, certain oil-producing nations collapse overnight. We even heard a wilder rumor. That the Maxwell generator isn't new at all. That Nikola Tesla built something identical in Colorado Springs in 1899. That his notes were seized after he died. that certain three-letter agencies have been sitting on it for 80 years. And now, for reasons unknown, they're letting it out. Maybe to crash petroleum economies. Maybe to prepare for something bigger. Solar flare. Grid attack. Pole shift. Who knows? We reached out to every contact we have. Ex-DOE officials. Off-grid pioneers. Even a guy who builds generators for Antarctic research stations. Half say it's real and world-changing. Half say it's smoke and mirrors. Both sides sound equally convinced. So here we are. 3 weeks of testing. Mountains of data. A machine that either ends energy scarcity forever or becomes the greatest wait until you see the catch story in history. We can't tell you which one it is. Not yet. What we can tell you is this. The unit we tested produced 15 kilowatts for 21 straight days. Through earthquakes. Through blizzards. Through every torture test we could invent. It never stopped. It never explained itself. And it never asked for a single drop of fuel. Maybe it's the dawn of a new era. Maybe it's the most sophisticated Trojan horse ever built. Maybe both. All we know is the future of power just got very, very weird. And whatever happens next, we were there when it started. The question is, do you believe it? Or are you waiting for the other shoe to drop? Drop your thoughts below. We're reading every single comment. Because right now, none of us know what to believe. And that's the most honest thing I can say.